Welcome to Sundays with Amber. I'm Amber and this is Cooper. For today's practice, you will need a blanket rolled up, a strap or something that will act like a strap, like a belt or a dish towel, and 2 blocks or a couple books that could act as your blocks. Kindness is dynamic. The baseline of kindness is truth. So sometimes the kindest thing to do is not the easiest thing to do. And on our yoga mat, we do the practice here. We're reminded of it as we move through some challenging postures. If you can take in this theme and this concept and this practice of what is the kindest thing to do in any posture you're in, that may be the most challenging thing to do in that moment, but really that's up to your experience and you tapping into your own truth. So if you just have that baseline of truth, that you're coming from this place of truth, can that be connected to your expression of kindness on and off the mat? So grab your strap and grab your blanket. And then before you lie down, slide that rolled up blanket right under your thigh bones, pretty close to the top of the hamstring. As you lie down, your bottom is on the mat, and you might have to inch closer to it as you lie down. Okay, and you can place the strap just to the side, have it close by though, in hands reach. Flex your feet. And when you do that and firm your legs, feel your thigh bones kind of press down into that blanket. You have like a point of context to really feel that. And then hug your right knee into your chest and just take a breath. And then still try to have a connection between your left thigh bone and the blanket. Breathe into your belly on the inhale. Expand it. And on the exhale, draw the navel into your spine. Now keep the navel drawn in, keep breathing, and move your right foot into your left inner thigh. It might help to bend your elbows and press the elbows into the mat. Keep your core engaged and the left thigh bone rooting down into that blanket. And if you're really doing that and keeping your hips squared forward, your right knee most likely won't touch the floor, and maybe the goal isn't to have the right knee touch the floor. If you have slippery pants on, this is going to be extra challenging. Right? Toning your belly. You can even place your hands at your hips and see if you're tipping over to the right. If that's the case, lift your right knee up and square your hips to the ceiling. Squeeze your foot and your inner thigh together and just take a breath there, engaging the core, trying to maintain that. In actuality, if you keep the hips square and then try to open the right knee, that's more hip opening than if you were just to tip over to the side. At first glance, this might look like it's more hip opening, but actually, the truth of it is if you keep your hips square, keep the hips down, and then open the knee, the knee may never touch the floor, but it's more hip opening. Okay, let's switch sides. Extend your right leg out and then firm the right thigh bone down. Hug your left knee to your chest and see if you can still root down through that right thigh bone into the blanket. Take a breath. Into the belly. It's like the truth is the foundation or the baseline of kindness. I think there's a foundational quality to engaging the core on the exhale, especially when we do movement like pressing your left foot now into your right inner thigh. So engaging, and you might have to bend your elbows first and to press down and the backs of your shoulders down. Okay, and then just try it. If you were to try to really get your left knee to the floor, does the right hip lift? Okay. Could you square your hips, lift the left knee up to help you do that and really be truthful about what is happening? Where is the weight? Press your straight leg and your foot together, then open the left knee. But keep that right side down. One more breath. Great. Hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Still breathing into the belly. Extend your left leg back out. Now grab what you're going to use for your strap. Unravel it if it's rolled up. Weave the strap around the arch of your right foot and extend your foot upward to the sky. If the knee's bent a lot when you're here, reach the foot forward so the leg can straighten a bit more. And you'll know kind of when, because you might start to feel the stretch in the calf or the hamstring. And stay there, right, with the leg straight. Root down through the left thigh bone. Take the straps in your right hand. Left hand can go on the left hip as a reminder to keep that left hip down. Left shoulder down. Now open the leg out to the right. You might start to slide your right hand down the strap and bend your right elbow to support here. But same idea, try not to tip to the right. Right, drawing the belly in, using that kind of awareness and that alignment of keeping the hips square to really tap into what's actually happening in your hips. Take a breath in and a breath out. Right, inhale, lift the leg back up, and we'll just switch. And before you switch, bend your left knee, plant that foot, then release the right foot, hug your left knee in, then extend your right leg. Root the right thigh bone down, grab the strap, lasso the left foot, to throw it up there. Okay, and then lift the leg. This leg might be different, so you might have to take it forward a little bit more. If you have anything going on with the hamstrings or they're feeling a little tighter, do that. Just notice. So we work on the asymmetrical postures. You notice a pose. We do a pose on one side and the next. Take the straps into your left hand and keep the right side rooted down as you bend the left elbow and extend your left leg out to the side any amount. Okay, toning your belly. There's that subtle drawing in of the navel, but not so tight that it affects the expansive quality of your breath. So try to keep the breath long within the challenge of doing these alignment cues. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, relax it. And then inhale, lift your leg back up. Plant the right foot, undo the left foot, plant the left foot. You can put the strap to the side. Slip the blanket out so it's not there anymore. You can push it right to the side. Hug your knees back in just for a breath. Breathe into your belly. Okay, and then plant your feet and roll onto one of your sides. Flex your feet and come up onto your elbow. So your elbow is under your shoulder. The hand is planted. Your elbow, your hip, and your feet are on one line. Okay? Place your top hand at the hip. Take a breath in to your belly. And as you exhale, tone your belly and lift the hips up any amount. So holding here as you lift up. Try to lift the hip a little higher and keeping your hips squared forward. Hold 3, 2, 1. Lower the hip down. Take the top hand to the floor to help you. Slide the bottom elbow straight back. So the elbow and the hips and the feet are still on one line. And cupping your head with your palm. Okay, flex your feet. Tone your belly on the inhale. Expand it. And on the exhale, draw the navel in. Draw the navel in. Then pick up the top foot and place it into the inner thigh of the bottom leg, similar to what we just did. With the straight leg, it really helps to flex your foot to help with balance here and to remember to draw the belly in. Then kind of mimic and recreate what you were doing in the position when we were on our back. So instead of trying to get the top knee right up to the sky, move it forward so your hips are square. Tone your belly in. Tone your belly in. Squeeze your foot and your leg together and then see if you can take that top hand to the thigh. Sometimes it helps to look right at the floor, steadying your gaze. Notice if you're holding your breath and try not to do that. And create a long breath in this challenge. One more inhale. And one more exhale. And you did it. So take the top hand down, extend the leg, come on up and switch sides. So you go right over to the second side on your hip. Extend the legs out and place your elbow under your shoulder here, right? So again, you're aligning your elbow, your hip, and your feet. Take the top hand to the hip. On your exhale, pull the navel in. Inhale, lift the hips up. Still navel in, hold. 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips down. Take the top hand to the floor to support. Slide the elbow up the mat. Remember now your elbow's still in line with shoulder, the hips, and the feet. Take a breath. Navel in on the exhale. There's a core engagement, and then pick up the top foot and place it into the inner thigh. You might have to use your hand to do that. But once you get that connection, squeeze the foot and the inner thigh together. Squeeze them together. Draw the lower belly in. Find your gazing point. Steady your gaze. And just see if you can pick up your top hand and move it to the top leg. Keeping the hips square means the knee might move forward a little bit. Take one more breath. And then release the leg. Come onto your belly. Slide your hands by your rib cage and point your toes. Like firming the legs as you press the tops of the feet down. Firm the glute muscles, engage, and then inhale, lift your chest without overly lifting your chin. Exhale, lower down. Let's do that 3 more times. Okay, inhale, lift. Long breath, exhale, lower. Last one, inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower. Curl your toes under, inhale, lift to your hands and knees. Exhale, shift your hips back and up, downward facing dog pose. Press your hands down and forward. Lift your sit bones up and back. Bend your right knee, press your left heel down. Switch sides. And then start to straighten both legs. Deep breath into the belly. Exhale, allow the lower belly to hollow in. Walk your hands back towards your feet. So come all the way back there. Slide your hands to your shins. Lift up halfway on the inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, rise, reach up to standing, arms overhead. Slide your hands to your heart as you exhale. And then grab both of your blocks, and you'll place the blocks, one at the top of the mat, top back, and one at the back of the mat. Then extend your legs out into a wide stance. Sliding your arms or lifting your arms to a T, bending at the wrist, and making sure that your ankles are aligned under your fingers, about there. Okay, and then hands can go at the hip. Turn your left toes in. You're moving your hips back to turn the left toes in just a little bit so that the left hip will move forward. Turn your right toes straight forward toward that side of your mat. Place your arms into a T position. Lift your chest. Take a breath into your belly. Exhale, tone your belly, then tip forward. Find your hand on the block and bring the block so that it's in line with maybe the calf, mid-calf, so that your wrist is under your shoulder, top shoulder and top hand. They're kind of all on one line. Widen your collarbones. Keep your belly toned. So drawing the navel in as you open up and maybe look up toward the top thumb. If that's not okay for your neck, you can look forward. But for 2 breaths, I just want you to steady your breath and steady your gaze. 1 more. Look down to your big toe. Leave the block there. Inhale, rise up. And as you exhale, place your hands at your hips. Turn your right toes in a little bit more so you're pigeon toeing, and then turn your left toes out. Slide your arms up into a T. Deep breath in. Tone your belly as you exhale. Tip forward, reach. Sliding your hand to that block, bring it back. And if you have to go and get it, if it's kind of far away, it's okay to bend the knee to do that too. But you're stacking wrist under shoulder, under top hand. Keep the belly toned and then start to open up. Maybe looking up or looking forward. 2 breaths. Long, steady breath and steady gaze. Look down on the inhale. Leave the block there. Exhale, come all the way up. Turn the toes forward. Then heel, toe the feet to center. And feet hip distance apart. Place your hands at your heart. Toning your belly here. Really important as we balance on one foot. Shift your weight towards your left foot. Hug your right knee in. And you might go to a wall and put your hand at the wall there as well. But then just going to test it. So if your hand's at the wall, you're trying not to use the wall. Okay. And then opening that right knee out to the side as you place the foot into your inner thigh. Okay. Squeezing the leg and the foot together. Same thing we've done now in a couple of positions. Toning the belly, hands at the hips. Notice if your right hip's hiked up a lot. Lower it so that the hips are just parallel to the floor as they're squared forward. The knee coming out to the side instead of trying to get it over to the side, twisting the hips and twisting the left knee as a result. So everything's stacked and stable. Option to reach your arms up to the sky, or maybe it's one hand if one hand's at the wall. Lifting your chest, but keeping the core engaged. Maybe start to lift your chin and your gaze. Hold for 2 breaths. Okay, slide your hands to your heart. Slowly release the right foot, and let's switch sides. Shift your weight to your right foot. Find a gazing point, something that's steady, or maybe you're taking a hand to the wall. Hug your left knee to your chest. What happens in the belly when you lift the knee? As soon as I did, I felt like my belly kind of dropped out. So just come in to remembering that quality that lifts you up, drawing the belly in, kind of lifts and stabilizes the spine. And then taking the foot into the inner thigh. Immediately start to squeeze the foot and the leg together toward the midline. Okay, and as the belly tones, place your hands at your hips as an option, or one hand. And notice if the bent knee hip is lifted up. And if it is, could you, and it's going to maybe throw off balance at first, but could you have the hips more parallel? Still squeezing the foot, the leg together. Rising both hands up is an option. Toning the belly, lifting up, up, up. Maybe the gaze lifts. One deep breath. Hands at the heart. And release the foot. Okay. Moving your blocks off the mat. You can put them anywhere, just kind of off the mat. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your hands to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, step back to table pose. So on your hands and knees, come into table pose, wrists under the shoulders and knees under your hips. Inhale, reach your chest forward, lift your sit bones up. Exhale, round your back and hollow your belly in. Cat pose. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach your chest forward, lift your sit bones up. Exhale, round your back into cat, hollow the belly in, engage the core. Now keep that engagement. Inhale, come forward into the cow shape without lowering the belly. So we're still in engagement. And when you exhale, round again, reminding yourself through cat to engage the core. Last one, keep the core engaged. Inhale, forward. Exhale, round. Into neutral. Step your knees together. Extend your left leg back so it's parallel to the floor. Flex the foot. Hug your right hip in. Imagine when you were in your tree variations, we've done 3 variations of it. When the foot was in the inner thigh and you were squeezing the inner thigh and the foot together, treat your right leg like that, squeezing into the midline. Okay, point your left toes and turn the left knee out without opening the hip. Keep the hips square and turn the knee out. You hug the right hip in. Inhale, extend the left leg to the left any amount. And when you exhale, crisscross it behind you any amount. It might not be that much. Inhale, extend it out to the side. And as you exhale, float it behind you with the crisscross. Hug the right hip in. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Lower the knee. Let's do the other side. Lift your right leg up and notice if your left hip starts to pop out immediately when you do that. So you're hugging the outer hip in, squeezing the inner thigh to the midline, toning your belly. Then turn your right knee out. The external rotation of the leg. Inhale, sweep the right leg out any amount. And when you exhale, crisscross it behind you. And inhale, reach it out. Exhale, crisscross it behind you. With your breath, inhale and exhale. Come onto your hands and knees. Grab your blocks. Place your blocks a straight line, any height. So they're connected. Turn away from the blocks and have for, maybe about a foot. It could be longer, more space, or shorter, less space, depending on how tall you are. As you come down, you can determine that and you can change it. You really want the back of your heart on the first block and the back of your head on the second block. So you're there. So lower back and like the bottom portion of the mid back, it's not touching anything, but your bottom is on the mat. Okay. Reach your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, sweep the arms back. Inhale there, extend the arms. And as you exhale like a snow angel, reach the arms out to the sides and down to your hips. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the arms up. And exhale, sweep them behind you. Inhale, extend. Exhale, sweep them out and around. And down. Last one. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, reach back behind you any amount. Deep breath in. And as you exhale this time, sweep halfway, palms up, and then bend your elbows a little bit so you can rest your forearms on the floor. Relax your jaw, relax your forehead. Start to notice your breath wisping across your nose and the back of your throat as you inhale and exhale. Slowing the breath down. Staying there. And as you notice your breath wisping across your nose and the back of your throat, as you breathe, begin to notice the natural kind of pause, the top of the inhale, and the natural pause at the bottom of the exhale. Slowing the breath down. And 2 more. And this time, the top of the inhale, hold the breath in. And the bottom of the exhale, hold the breath out. Do that one more time. And just breathe normally. If you want to come off the blocks at any point, you can. If you're comfortable and you can stay here longer, do that. And take a moment to consider our intention again. Kindness as something that's dynamic. That one day what is maybe the kindest thing to do would be different than what would be the kindest thing to do the next day. Or in one situation, what the kindest thing to do in that situation might be different than another situation. And how sometimes the kindest thing we can do is the most challenging thing we can do, the hardest thing we can do, whether that's a conversation we need to have or embedded conditioning that we need to work on to see and to dismantle. As you lie here for just a few more moments, considering that for yourself in your life right now, in a particular situation, externally or internally, what does kindness mean when it has the foundation of truth toward that situation in your life? And sometimes what is revealed is quite simple. Get to the heart of it, the root of that. To feel free to stay here for a few more moments or roll off the blocks and come into Shavasana on your back and rest for at least 3 to 5 minutes on your own. Giving yourself that time to just be. And when you're ready, you can come up to seated and have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. And if you're interested in learning more about the other offerings I have, go to sundayswithamber.com. Otherwise, I'll see you next Sunday on Sundays with Amber.